We can change the world if and when we remember who we are. We don't have to go and find it out there. It's about remembering that everything we're looking for is already right in here. Just as you were reading today, Mary, all of the things you were saying just filled me. And there's a remembrance that happens when we hear the truth of the goodness and the possibility that reside within us. So I just want to share a quote from one of the really profound philosophers. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Who? Yes, 1955, Dr. Seuss. He just is, awakens that. He is such a visionary, yes. And awakens that truth for children, and we're all the children within us right now, that there's something wonderful wanting to be remembered. You know, we feel that we call it the divine urge. You feel that? You know, it's pushing us, a little tapping on our hearts. You know what it is? It's God saying, let me out. Because there's a goodness in there that wants to be expressed, but we forget. Now, if we go back in time, we call ourselves New Thought, Ancient Wisdom, because the ancients understood the connection to something greater. They knew. I mean, first of all, the modern world is awfully distracting. Have you played solitaire on your phone yet? Oh my God, it gets so addictive. You know, I said, Kirk, I'm not playing. I'm really not. No, not. It's just funny, but it's so addicting because we're so used to things moving so fast. And the ancients spent more time contemplating, thinking, and knowing. Now, the ancient Greeks seem to know this connection, this inner power, the hidden divinity, we'll call it. And Orphism is an ancient mystic Greek religion of the 4th century BC. And it's based on Orpheus, who was a mystic, a poet, a musician, a prophet. And he believed that humanity had a dual nature. Sound familiar? We have the body, which is flesh, and the spirit, the stars. And we are the place they connect. We're the place that spirit, that divinity, that universal intelligence, and the body meet right here in us. In fact, this beautiful teaching and philosophy he had was written on some gold foil tablets, the Orphic tablets, that were found buried in graves throughout Greece and Rome. Started in 1879. There were messages put to those passing on from this life. And they carried the pearls of Orphism, of the religion, of the Greek philosophy. And hanging in the Getty Museum, there's one of these tablets. And just one line. The tablets had between one word and 16 lines of poetry. And this is one line from several lines on this tablet hanging at the Getty Museum. And it says, I am a child of earth and starry heaven. I am a child of earth and starry heaven. But heaven is my race. That's who I truly am. I just added that, but heaven is my race. That's who we truly are. And when Plato, another ancient Greek, came up with the axiom, know thyself, he meant to tap into that hidden divinity that's in all of us. It's there now. So Ernest Holmes said all of the spiritual masters, all of the spiritual geniuses, Moses, Socrates, Jesus, Plato, Emerson, ancient, medieval, modern, they all said the same thing. We have to look within to find God, spirit, universal intelligence, creative possibility, whatever you call it. We have to look within. Ernest Holmes loved Jesus because Jesus couldn't tell where he stopped and God began. I mean, that gives me the God bumps all over, because what a way to live, to not know, to meld our center with that place we call our God center. Now, if I said, point to yourself, just do that. Just do it because I asked. Of course, we all point right here, because that's where we find it. That's where that divinity is. Now, you know, it says, how do we really remember who we are? Well, the first place to start is to listen to our heart. Listen to our heart. And if our heart is telling us, this world is scary, it's evil, you're unworthy, then that's not the God's voice. That's clutter that needs to be cleaned out, that has either been put there, by well-meaning people, by cultures, by religions, whatever, it's been put there. You know, it's not everybody wrong or bad that's taught us things that lead us in, not in an upward direction, but either a linear or a downward direction for trusting ourselves. But we need to start cleaning out that stuff that keeps us out of alignment with our truth. You know, there's so many little fables that I looked at, and I remember reading one from Chicken Soup for the Soul, 30 years ago, about our hidden divinity. You know, and I remember, and I shared it at, early on in the ministry, I shared that, and Dr. Jim gave me one from Ernest Holmes, another ancient fable about the hidden divinity that was in the Science of Mind magazine, I think in 1955. Is that the same year that Dr. Seuss wrote this? Oh my gosh, they were in sync, I'll tell you. There's another Hindu fable, and they all say the same things about, the Hindus say that when humans were created, they were all gods. And then they abused their divinity. So Brahma, the head honcho, the chief god, said, we're taking that away. We're taking that divinity away from the humans because they don't know how to use it. And we're going to hide it where they'll never find it. So he called in the other gods and said, okay, the lesser gods, of course, where are we going to hide this divinity that they can't find it? And the lesser gods said, well, let's dig a really, really deep hole and put it way down in the earth. Brahma said, no, not going to work. Humans are smart. They'll dig, and they're tenacious. And they'll dig and dig and dig until they find it. Okay, well, let's think of something harder, the council said, of the lesser gods. And they said, let's put it way, 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 way down in the deepest sea. And Brahma said, no. They'll learn how to dive, and they'll learn how to get way down, and they'll find it there too. So the council said, we don't know what to do. We don't know where to put this. And Brahma said, we'll put it in a place they'll never find it. Since they're always looking outside, we're going to put it inside themselves. They'll never remember where to look. And here's the ending of that quote, which I mean that little story, that fable, which I thought was really cute. It said, ever since, the legend concludes, humans have been going to and fro throughout the earth, climbing, digging, diving, exploring, and searching for something already within themselves. The divinity within humanity is still the best kept secret of the ages. Kids, we need to learn. They were telling this secret 2,000 years ago and before. We've got to get it. We've got to learn and start doing our part. If you knew, if you started living remembering who you are, would you ever feel inferior to anyone or anything? Answer it, please. No, of course not. How could you? If we knew we had everything, all the qualities of spirit, we have love and peace and power and beauty and joy and goodness and possibility in us. And we express this because, yes, we all have that divinity in us, but we're unique expressions. So we express all of those qualities in our own unique way. Isn't that good? How do you express love? How do you express peace, possibility, goodness? All different and all good, all good. The world would have you believe you're not significant, you're out of touch and out of style, and you need certain kinds of medications that will heal whatever you have at any time. They want us to think that, we do need these things. I'm not talking about that, but we want to pull on that power within us, because that power within is greater than any other power in the world, the God power in us. And we need to learn how to use that and find it, that we can express that in our own magnificent and wonderful ways. Alan Cohen said, every choice before you represents the universe inviting you to remember who you are and what you want. Think about the choices we make every single day. It could start with breakfast. Why not? The choices we make of what we put in our body can either lead us lighter and closer to health and spirit and goodness, or not. Every choice we make, what if we were conscious enough to really look at the choices we make and realize, wow, every little choice I make can either activate this tapping on my heart that wants to be expressed, it can activate it, or it can close the door. It can block us. It can clutter up that place. As a person thinks in their heart, so they are. We need to clean the pathway. We need to open up to greater and more beautiful things. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, hitch your wagon to a star. Meaning, in the morning, even before breakfast, when you get up, put a thought on something good and right and true. Sometimes that's too hard, so let me give you something a little easier. I want you to think for a minute, who is your hero? A hero isn't a guru. A hero is someone that inspires you, that opens you, that makes you feel better. Who is your hero? And if you can't remember who you are, thinking about who's my hero? And they can be different people for different days or animals or whatever, it's your hero at that moment. But a hero inspires you and it awakens within you. It pulls out of you the goodness, the realness of who you are. If you honor someone who's, what's a quality somebody has that's really good? Compassion, like the Dalai Lama. If you have that, then that's the truth of you are. You're here to give compassion. If it's Mother Teresa's service, serve. If it's someone else, that is part of the truth of who you are. That helps you remember who you are. Who is your hero? So when I say, which I say so many times, if we're really going to remember who we are and go back to ancient Greece and before that, you put one hand in the hand of spirit, whatever name you want to call it, in the hand of love, in the hand of goodness, whatever you want to call that, and the other reaches out to humanity. That's the way we can be stretched and opened to something better that wants to be revealed from us now, right now, this minute. So every choice we have, we can choose, I'm reaching for something better. It was Matthew Fox who said, our invitation is to always be better, to be a better version of ourselves. And this requires always renewing those qualities that make us special and unique. Not that stuff I was telling you is programmed into you to fit in, to belong, to be like everybody else. That doesn't work. We're not designed that way. Each one of us is different, and we're meant to be special in ourselves. And he goes on to say, again, this has to be done from the inside out. Now, so I'm going to say this, and I want you to say it after me. There is something in me greater than I appear to be. There is something in me greater than I appear to be. Right now, this minute. No, I'm just saying. It was put there when I was born and is waiting my recognition of it. But it's not enough just to recognize it. I'm just telling you that, but that's okay. That sounded really good, but it isn't enough just to recognize it. We have to do something and demonstrate it and do something more with it. If you say, oh, yes, I know, and you just read all these affirmations and they make you feel good, and then you go out and do nothing, it doesn't work. We've got to demonstrate that wonder and that goodness and that joy that we all have. So I'm going to make sure we're going to really think today about, this is cute. I've decided I'm a Gnostic because I was reading about them and I love them. They're from the late 1st century. Yeah, Bruce, I know you know why, buddy, you know why. But anyway, Bruce just lit a little fire in my mind and heart. But they believed that there was a piece of God. They came from the late 1st century, and they were Jews and Christians, sects of both of them. Not sex. How do you say that with an X? Sex, I mean with a CT, not an... Oh, God. Not with an X, with a CT, S-E-C-T. Never mind, different groups of them. Anyway, oh, man, I've just dug myself in a hole. They came together because they knew a greater truth. They could see that all people, had a piece of God in them. They believed that. They knew that. And here's what else they said. I just love this. They believed that, and then they felt Christ. I wrote this down because I thought it was so beautiful. They felt Christ they saw Christ as a divine being who had taken human form in order to lead humanity back to the recognition of their own divine nature. I'm going to read that again because that's exactly how I feel, how we feel. They believed they saw Christ as a divine being who had taken human form in order to lead humanity back to recognition of its own divine nature. They saw humanity as flawed, which we know, but the salvation for them was to find the hidden divinity within. So I'm just going to ask us today to hitch our wagon to a star and hitch it to each other, and we're going to hitch it to the love train. Are you ready for a ride?